mats. And as we welcome those who are joining with the recording, I'll let you know that we're going to probably need a block at a certain point today. And it'd be nice to have a chair or something you could put your heels up on, like a couch or something. And we are going to begin lying down. So let's make our way over to our mats and find our way into a lying down position. And just lie back. I'm going to not lie back right away, but you guys lie down and support your head if that feels more comfortable. Just allow the weight of your body to settle and release into the floor. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the whole weight of your body relaxing into the support of the floor. Let your awareness come fully to the feeling of your body and your breathing. Take a little time to deepen your breath, both your in-breath and your out-breath. Deepening the breath so that the breath creates movement all the way down into the belly rising and falling as you breathe. The lungs expanding, and then letting the breath empty. And as you're breathing deeply, I'm just going to share a little reading for our beginning this morning from Melody Beatty called Let Your Body Lead You. She says, our bodies can help provide us with direction. Many of us have heard the expression, I'm leaning toward that, or I'm leaning away from that. When we're centered and balanced, our body will help show us what we really want to do. We will literally lean toward or away from what we like or don't like. We've spent much of our lives forcing our body into situations and circumstances that it leaned away from, resisted, moved back from. And then we wondered why we hurt and felt uncomfortable. The more we honor our body, the more it will help lead us. And the more it will become a natural guide, helping us on our path, reflecting the desires of our heart and soul. The more we learn to trust our body, the more we'll come into harmony with our natural rhythms, the cycles and movements of our lives. Learn to open to the subtle guidance and messages your body sends to you about what it likes, what it dislikes, what it leans toward, and what it leans away from. Learn to see where it's leading you. Talk to your body. Ask what it wants. Then let it show you. Respect it enough to listen. The more we connect to our bodies, the more we will live connected to our hearts, our souls, and be guided by the divine or inspiration. The more we practice listening to our bodies, the more naturally and easily this guidance and connection will flow. Trust the wisdom of your body, for it often reflects the wisdom of your soul. So as you're lying back, breathing deeply, feeling your body, What is it communicating to you? How are you feeling? Physically, mentally, and emotionally. And with that awareness of how you're feeling, is there something you'd like to have as your primary focus in this morning's time on your mat? I think this yoga practice is so nice in that it gives us this opportunity to really consider how to be intentional. It gives us an opportunity to practice inviting something in that we really could use a little more of, that we want to cultivate in our lives. So perhaps choose one thing as your guide this morning, as your inspiration or your intention. And breathe it in now. And just try to hold that in your awareness and come back to it and breathe it in as we practice this morning. So let's, after your next exhale, with your next in-breath, let's open our eyes and just start to extend your legs out straight and start to reach your arms overhead. And I want you to take a big, long stretch, like you're waking up in the morning. You're just like reaching your arms and you're reaching your toes, big, long breath. And then just let that go and just let your arms flop, let your feet flop and breathe out. And then just do that on one side. So one arm and one leg reach away from each other, stretching as far away from each other as they can as you breathe in. And then let that side relax. Other side, reach the arm up and the leg away and big long stretch, big breath. And then let them both relax. And then one more time, both arms, both legs, reach away up with your arms, reach, point your toes, big breath. And then relax. All right, we're gonna let our arms come either into cactus or goalpost arms, like a right angle out from your shoulder with the back of your hands on the floor. And if that doesn't feel good, or if your hands don't touch, you could just have your arms up, your lower arms up, or you could have your arms out like a T. So just straight out to your side, or back of the hands on the floor, or if it's more comfortable with your hands up toward the ceiling, just so your elbows are coming straight up from your shoulders. And then slide your heels in, and then take your feet up off the floor, and then we'll lift our legs up in the air. And let's just alternate flexing and pointing the feet. So big flex, big point, like loosening up the back of the leg, the heel, the ankle, the calf. Let's circle around in one direction, maybe wiggle your toes a little bit, and then circle the other way. Great. All right. So we have our legs up in the air. I want you to just bend one knee and then take that leg and just extend it out. It could be on a high angle or a lower angle. But as the leg extends, you're going to notice that the low belly fires. And then bring that knee in and lift that leg up. And then bend the other knee and take it out. Maybe start on a higher angle. And then, you can decide if you want a higher angle or a lower angle. Bring the knee in and lift the leg up. First leg, bend the knee, extend the leg out. Bring the knee back, lift the leg up. Other side, bend the knee, extend the leg out, bring it back, lift it up. We'll do that one more time on each side, bending the knee, extending the leg out, bringing it back, lifting it up, bending a knee, extending the leg out, bending the knee. Now we're going to bend both knees. And as we extend the legs out, you might want to go a little higher with the legs rather than straight out, and then bend the knee and lift it up. As we lift the legs up, can we do a little hip lift, a reverse curl? And then bend the knee, extend your legs out, bring the knees back, lift the legs up in a little reverse curl. And then roll out, bend the knees, extend the legs out, bend the knees, legs go up in a little reverse curl. And a few more like that. Extend the legs out, bend the knees, reverse curl, bend the knees, extend, bend, come up and lift. 2 more like that. We're just getting going here, warming up legs, the lower body, the low belly. Great. All right. After this, next time you curl your hips up, let's just have bent knees. Let's lift our heads up now and clasp our hands under our head, supporting the weight of the head and the hands. A little bit of the head just a little bit off the floor, elbows are wide. We're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, knit your lower ribs into your belly to lift your head, neck, and shoulders so you're looking towards your knees. And then inhale and release back. Again, exhale and curl up, knit your ribs, and then reach your hands towards your ankles. And then release back as you breathe in. Curl up, reach towards your ankles, and then lower back down. This time, curl up and reach up toward the ceiling, knitting your ribs into your belly, and then lower back down. Breathe. One more time like that. We're going to curl up and reach up toward the ceiling, and then lower back down. This time we're going to curl up, and then I want you to twist across, elbow to knee, and then release back and down and breathe. Curl up and twist across, other elbow to other knee, and then lower back down. As you're twisting across, you can think about elbow to knee. You could also think about rib to thigh. So left rib toward the right thigh as you curl up, right ribs coming towards the left thigh as you curl up. Do that a few more times. And as you twist across, that same leg as the twisting arm can extend, and then it can come back as you lower down. So curl up, twist across, extend the same leg as the arm that's twisting across, and lower down. A few more like this, twisting across and lowering down. You're knitting your ribs, and then ribs come across towards the opposite thigh, twisting across and lowering down, twisting across and lowering down. Let's do one more on each side. Waking up the upper belly and the obliques here. Great. And then release your head, release your feet. Let's just bring our arms down at our side. So we had the hips in flexion for quite a while. Let's just open that up a little bit. Set up for a bridge pose. Heels right under your knees, feet hip distance apart. We're just going to lift the hips up into the air. Press down with your feet to lift your hips up here now. Starting to activate the back of the legs into the hamstrings and glutes. And with your hips up in the air, could you lift one foot a little bit off the floor and bring it back down? Lift the other foot a little bit up and bring it back down. We're just kind of marching, lifting a foot up and bringing it down, lifting a foot up and bringing it down. So we're waking up the backs of the legs here, hamstrings and glutes. One more time, lift the foot up and bring it down, lift the foot up and bring it down. Now with both feet down, take your hips up a little higher and take a breath. And then let's roll ourselves down. Slow, gradual, incremental, lowering down out of our bridge. And we're waking up the spine a little bit here. And once you're all the way down, take a moment here, take a breath, connect with how you're feeling and what you're inviting in this morning. Great. All right. Let's roll to the side and we're going to make our way all the way around to all fours. So come to kneeling on all fours, cushioning your knees if that would be nice for your body this morning. And once you've found a nice square position, take a moment and just lengthen your spine. You can move a little side to side if you want, kind of loosen up. Feel your hands really firmly planted. Feel the back of your neck long as you take your gaze down between your hands. And then let's take one leg back, press back through the heel. As that leg goes back, notice if you drop your belly or arch your back. Keep a little tone in your belly to support your low back. Reach your opposite arm forward. Spinal balance here. Take a breath as you reach out long. And then we're going to take the arm out to the side. So just bend your elbow like a right angle. And can you take your knee out to the side as well? Bent knee, bent arm. And then reach that arm and leg front and back. Do that again. Arm bends out to the side, knee bends out to the side. Hold here, take a breath. And then reach the arm and leg front and back. One more time. Bring the elbow out to the side, knee out to the side. Take a breath. And then reach the arm and leg front and back. Press out through your heel, reach long through your fingertips. Take one more breath. And then bring that hand and knee down. Let's try the other side. Take the other leg back, press out through your heel. Really strong through that leg. Opposite arm reaches out in front. Take a breath here, reaching long. And then take that arm out to the side like a right angle, palm to the floor. Take that knee out to the side. Can you get that knee the height of your hip? And then reach that arm and leg front and back. Take a breath here. As you exhale, bring that arm and knee out to the side. Take a breath here. Knee is nice and high at the height of your hip. As you exhale, bring that arm and leg front and back. Reach long, take a breath here. One more time. As you exhale, bring the elbow and knee out to the side. Take a breath here. As you exhale, reach long, front and back. Hold here for a breath. Really reach long. Nice work. And then bring that hand and knee back down. Great. All right, let's take the hips back. Actually, you might want to separate your knees a little bit and then sit back on your heels so that you can walk your fingers a little forward and lower your forehead to the floor, if that works for you. If your knees don't want to bend that much, just come down as far as feels good for your body this morning. So we're in a wider leg child's pose here. Forehead on the floor, taking a breath. And then could you keep your forearms on the floor and start to scoop your heart forward? So you're kind of bringing your sternum forward, kind of your heart right between your arms. And then as you press down into your hands and straighten your forearms, can you extend your spine or arch your back? So you're coming up into a cow pose here. And then kind of come to more neutral spine. And then round your back, dropping your head. And then sit back again into that extended child's pose. Lower your forearms, lower your head. Let's try that again. We're going to keep the forearms down, start to scoop the heart forward, starting to arch your back as you press down into your hands and straighten your forearms, coming up into cow pose here. Belly is dropped, heart pulls forward, gaze is forward. And then start to transition to your long neutral spine. And then start to round your back. Drop your head, drop your tail, press up in your spine. Again, starting to sit back into extended child's pose, lowering down. Forearms are down, forehead is down. Take a breath in and out here. Each breath is that opportunity to reconnect with what's inspiring you this morning. Let's just make our way back up to all fours, and then we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. So as we come into down dog, feeling the weight in the whole hand, under those knuckles, under the whole finger, not just the points of the fingers, under the thumbs. As the hands press down, can you take your hips up and back, broaden across your upper back? Maybe move your hips a little to one side, a little to the other. Maybe bend a knee and pedal a heel down, and then the other. Maybe shake your head a little bit, releasing the muscles at the base of the skull. So taking a little time here to do some things that feel nice in your body as you're kind of upside down. Maybe notice how your perspective is different. What you see is different when the world is upside down. And then let's bend both knees a bit. Take those hips way up and back. Take a deep breath in. Let's blow it all the way out. Or we can sigh it out. Let's do that again. Deep breath in and a big. Good. Let's walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering our heels, ending up folded over. Soft knees here. Arms and head heavy. You can sway a little bit to one side and breathe in. Then sway center, breathe out. Sway to the other side and breathe in. And sway center. Really plant your feet now. Take a deep breath into your upper back. Let the breath empty out. And then draw your belly in and roll yourself up. Arms and head are heavy. As you roll up through your spine, stacking your vertebrae. Just feel your spine unfurling. Feel your neck unfurling as your head comes up. As your feet are down, reach your arms out. Reach your arms up, lengthen and lift. Heart lifts up, gaze can go up. And then let the arms release down as you breathe out. And then let's turn the face towards me. We're going to do some heel raises. So if you want to hold on to the wall or to your chair, you can. We'll get our feet kind of right beneath us. And we're just going to lift our heels off the floor. And then we're going to try and lift up nice and high. And then we're going to bring our heels close to the floor. And then we're going to lower them down. So lift the heels a little bit. And then lift them nice and high. And then lower them down, kind of slowly. Lower them down until they're all the way down. One more time like this. Lift your heels a little bit. Lift your heels up nice and high. Try not to let them roll out to the side, but they kind of do that. And you bring them back in and then lower them slowly. Great. All right, same thing, but a wider stance. So sumo. So heels a little wider than hips and toes turned out. We're going to start to take the hips back and bend the knees forward. Let's get those knees bending out in the direction of the toes. As the knees go forward, the hips go back a bit more. As we drop into this wide-legged sumo squat, let's do the same thing. We're going to lift our heels up a little bit, and then we're going to lift our heels up real high and slowly lower them down, nice and slow, until they're all the way down. Let's do that again. Lift them a little bit, then lift them up nice and high, and then slowly lower those heels down until they're all the way down. One more time. Lift the heels a little bit. Lift the heels really high. So this works the muscles of the feet, the legs, the pelvic floor. Slowly lower heels all the way down. Great. And then we'll straighten ourselves up. Let's bring our feet together. We'll come to stand at the front of our mat. And as we're finding ourselves here, let's really ground through the feet. So I say that a lot, and sometimes an instruction we hear over and over, we don't really think about it, you know. It was like when I was a kid, I'd go to church. Like, how often did you think about what they were saying? It was just so habitual. But let's consciously think about this direction to ground through the feet. What does it feel like to feel your heels grounding down? The sides of your feet connected to the floor. The balls of your feet. The toes of your feet. Sending roots down into like the imaginary soil that's beneath you. Root yourself down. And sometimes when we consciously do that, parts of the body relax because a lot of energy is used to kind of hold ourselves up. And if we feel grounded, then a lot of that holding up energy can just kind of release. We know we're solid and secure. And that can have an impact on the state of our minds, actually. So it's a useful process. So we ground through the feet, we notice how that feels. And then once we're solidly grounded, we can think about standing tall from that grounded perspective. So standing tall can be done with a little less pulling up tension. We're standing tall from a grounding down experience. So just take a moment to think about that as you take a breath. And then let's reach our arms out. And can you create space from shoulder to shoulder, from shoulder blade to shoulder blade, and then all the way out to your middle fingertip? Yeah. And then take those arms and start to reach them up. And with that grounding down energy, reach the arms up. So the ribs, the shoulders slide up, the fingertips reach up, the heart can lift, the gaze might go up. Let's take a breath here. And then sweep the arms out, soften the knees, and start to swan dive forward over those soft knees, arms and head dropping. Deep breath into our upper backs. As we exhale, let's extend the heart forward. You might bring your hands to shins. And just really feel your spine lengthening between the shoulder blades. And then inhale and round forward. Great. We'll bring our hands to the floor. Let's step back to downward facing dog. Rounding through the hands, hips up and back, deep breath. And then exhale to straight arm plank. Pushing the floor away, long heels to crown. Take a breath. Let's exhale. You can put your knees down behind you if you like. We're going to bend the elbows a bit. Try to resist the temptation when the elbows bend to just let the belly drop. Keep the belly strong. Take a breath here. And then we'll lower down. The knees could come down, chest comes down. All right, slide the heels of the hands back a bit. Let your chest sink down. Hover your nose off the mat. Reach back through the toes. Lengthen through your crown. From right between your shoulder blades now, start to lift your chest up. Start to pull your heart forward as the heel of your hands press back a little bit. Like a turtle kind of extending out from its shell. Pull forward and then lower down. So the turtle, you might think about their head pulling out of the shell. You could think about your head pulling forward, but I'd like you to think more about your sternum pulling forward, your breastbone. So let's try that again. Inhale and let the turtle press his head out of the shell by lengthening the sternum forward. Yeah. And then lower down. All right, one more time like that. We're going to inhale up to baby cobra. And let's lift our hands up, lift our elbows up and squeeze and hug the elbows in towards the midline. And really feel those upper back muscles working to pull in towards your midline. And then release your hands, release your chest. Let's push up to knees, curl the toes under and lift the knees and lift the hips up and back to down dog. We'll breathe in and out here. We'll look a little forward and walk our feet up toward our hands, planting our feet beneath us. And then let's sweep the arms out. Inhale and rise up, reach up. Exhale, arms down at our side. Grounding down through the feet, standing tall. Let's do that again. Reach the arms out and up, breathing in. Exhale and swan dive forward. Bring your hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Exhale, lower to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, little bend in your elbows. Take a breath here. Exhale, lower all the way down to prone mountain. On your next inhale, come up to baby cobra, or you could come up a bit more into cobra. And then exhale back down. And then make your way up and back to downward facing dog. Breathe in and out here. And let's actually drop to knees. Let's come to knees. And then coming up onto our knees, we're going to step 1 foot forward. Have your feet hip distance apart. Let the weight go into that front foot and let your back hip sink down a little bit. And then push the weight back. Now find your hip point, your hip bone, your pelvic crest here. I want you to think about lifting it up a little bit. It's not a big movement. It's just the pelvic, this hip bone might be a little bit forward. And I want you to think about bringing it up a little bit. And then let the front knee move forward. So you might not go as far, but you might feel a little deeper stretch here. And then that same arm is that back leg. Let's reach the arm up and take a breath. And then bring that arm down. We're going to push the weight back onto the back knee and change legs. step the other foot out in front. And then then let the weight go forward on that foot. I'm just turning so you can see me better. You don't have to turn. And then push the weight back. And then again, find that hip bone. And can you lift it up just a bit, half an inch or an inch. And then with that hip point, lift it up, bend into that front knee. And maybe you don't go as far, but you might feel a little deeper stretch. And then same arm as the back leg, reach it up. And take a breath. And then let it come down. All right, let's come back to knees. Let's sit back into child's pose. So this time your knees are closer together as you round over your legs and release your forehead. And you might need to support your head with your bent arms here. And take a breath, check in. All right, lift your head up, reach your arms out, make your way to downward facing dog. Breathing in and out here. We're going to step our right foot forward into lunge. So some of us might want to drop to the knees and step the right foot out. Some of us might want to take the right leg up in the air, bend that knee, sweep it in, look forward and step that foot through the lunge. So we get into a lunge with the right foot forward here. We'll let our hips lower a bit. Let's bring our forearms onto the front knee here. An externally supported lunge. Can we press back through the heel and lengthen through the crown? Let's bring our hands to heart. Internally supported lunge. Getting nice and long from heel to crown. We'll take a breath. Let's twist to the right now. Twist your ribs around so that they face the wall that's on your right side. Either keep your hands to heart or bring your elbow to the outside of the knee and twist a little bit more. And take a breath. And then unwind. Bring your hands to the floor and step back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. We'll go to the other side. So you could drop to the knees and step the left foot forward or lift your left leg up in the air. Bend that knee, sweep that leg through into a low lunge. So let the hips lower a bit here as you're in the slow lunge. And then bring your forearms onto your front thigh. All right, press back through your heel, lengthen through your crown, bring your hands to heart. Take a breath here. Exhale and twist to the left now. Rotate your ribs around to that side wall. Maybe your hands stay to heart, maybe elbow to outside of the knee as you twist a little bit more. Take a breath here. And then unwind yourself. Bring your hands back down, step back to downward facing dog. Nice work. Breathe in and out. Lower to straight arm plank. Breathe in and out here. And lower yourself all the way down. All right, let's come on to forearms. Get those elbows right under your shoulders. Slice down to lift your chest. Leave your feet where they are. So here we are, the chest is lifted. Your belly is on the floor. You can feel your navel on the floor. So I'd like you to take a breath in. As you exhale, I want you to lift your navel up. So engage to lift your navel off the floor. And now the front of your pelvis is still down. So we're going to take another breath in. And with this exhale, we're going to lift the pelvis off the floor. So now the weight is on kind of the front of the thighs and the knees. We're going to take a breath in. With the next exhale, we're going to lift the thighs up. So just the knees are down. We're going to take another breath in. And with this exhale, we're going to curl the toes under and lift the knees up. And then we're going to reverse that. We're going to take a breath in. With this exhale, we're going to let the knees come down, but not the thighs. We're going to take a breath in. With this exhale, can you lower the thighs, but not the pelvis? We'll take a breath in. With this exhale, let your pelvis come down, but not your navel. Take one more breath in. With this exhale, let your belly relax down. All right, take your elbows wide. Let your head rest on your hands. We're going to take a little break. We're going to do that whole series again. So take a breath, check in. What is your body saying to you? Are you listening? Are you feeling, paying attention? Let's try that again. So bring your forearms beneath you, elbows right beneath shoulders, chest comes up. We're going to take a breath in. As we exhale, lift the navel. Take another breath in. With this exhale, lift the pelvis off the floor, but the thighs are still a little touching. Take another breath in. With this exhale, lift the thighs. You're just on your knees. Take another breath in. With this exhale, curl the toes under and lift the knees up. Take a breath here. With this exhale, lower the knees, but not the thighs. Take another breath in. With this exhale, lower the thighs, but not the pelvis. Take another breath here. With this exhale, can you lower your pelvis, but keep your navel pulled up, and take one more breath. And with this exhale, release the belly. All right, elbows go wide, head can rest on your hand. Take a breath, check in. As you're here now, I want you to bend one knee. So your foot is flexed, pointed toward the ceiling. Imagine you're balancing a platter on your foot. And then I want you to serve that platter up toward the ceiling. So you're going to press the front of that hip down to lift the foot up. You're balancing, serving a platter up toward the ceiling. And you may notice how this really activates your hamstring. So imagine you're really consciously making a muscle with your hamstring now. And then begin to extend that leg straight back, 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 until that leg is more straight, the foot is more pointed. You're holding that leg up with the hamstring, lift it a little higher, take a breath, and then lower that leg down. Great, let's do that on the other side. Bend the knee so that your foot faces the ceiling, like you're balancing a platter on your foot. And then press that same hip down and start to serve that platter up. Press that foot up toward the ceiling. Maybe you feel your hamstring firing. Can you make a muscle in your hamstring consciously? And then start to extend that leg back, 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 back until your toe is pointed and you're holding that leg up with your hamstrings. And take a breath. And then relax that leg down. All right, hover your head, bring your arms to your side, palms up. Now we're going to press the hips down and lift both legs up. Can you feel how those hamstrings are lifting your legs? Reach back through your fingertips, pull your heart forward, inhale, lift your chest up. Yeah, so you're really long, toes to sternum. Sternum's pulling forward, toes are reaching back, back of the neck is long. Could you press down to lift up a little higher? And could you pull your heart a little more forward, lift your chest a little higher, maybe lift your hands a little higher, and take one more breath. Beautiful. And then lower yourself down. Nice work. Let's push back to knees. Take the hips back and sit back into child's pose. Have knees closer together and round over those legs. Support your head. Breathe in and out here. Connect with how you're feeling. With your next in-breath, lift your head up, reach your arms out, and make your way to downward facing dog. Breathe in and out here. All right, so again, we're going to transition to right foot forward lunge. So you might lift your leg up and swing your foot forward. You might drop to knees and step a foot out in front and press up to lunge. So those two options are always available. We end up in our low lunge. And again, I want you to come to externally supported lunge. Forearms on your front thigh. And then internally supported lunge, hands to heart. So from here, we're going to try and transition into a balance. So, this may not be for everyone, or you might need a chair to hold on to. We're going to try and shift the weight onto the front foot. And then we're going to try and straighten the front leg. And we're going to try and lift the back leg up. So we want to use those hamstrings that we just woke up when we were serving the platter. The hamstrings are helping us to straighten the front leg. They're helping to lift the back leg. We're hinging forward from the hips. So we're trying to get the leg and the torso parallel to the floor. The hands can stay to heart. The arms can reach out to your side. Your arms can reach forward. We're going to hold for another breath or two here. Nice work. Go ahead and bend your standing leg. Step your back foot down. Bring your hands to the floor. Step back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. And then we're going to switch to left foot forward lunge. So you can drop to knees and step the left foot out or lift the leg up and then swing it through into lunge. We get into our low lunge here. And then we come into externally supported lunge. Get nice and steady here. Then bring your hands to heart. And you have the option to just hold here or step it in a little bit, put the weight into the front foot, start to straighten the standing leg, lift the back leg up, hinge forward. Trying to get more parallel to the floor if we can. Nice and long from heel to crown. You could take your arms out to the side or reach them forward. We're just going to hold for another breath or two. Good job. Bend your standing leg, step your back foot down, bring your hands down, back to down dog. You can always kneel and come up to down dog. Breathe in and out here. And let's again walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering our heels down. Ending up folded over, bent or soft knees. We'll again take a breath into the upper back. As the breath empties, we'll draw the belly in and roll ourselves up. Great. All right, let's come into a wide stance. Feet nice and wide. And I want us, let's actually turn our feet parallel. From this wide stance, we're just going to start to hinge forward. So as you move toward a flat back, you can have straight legs or you're welcome to soften your knees a bit. Whenever we soften the knees a bit, if our hamstrings are tight, if our legs are straight, it can strain the low back. If we soften the knees, it puts a little less strain on the low back. So we come to flat back, and then we're going to hinge over a bit more. So again, knees could be straight or knees could be bent. Slide your hands down your legs. And you could press onto your shins or you could grab your ankles. We're just folding over. We're going to let the head drop down. So let your head dangle like it does in down dog. You can shake it a little bit to free it up. Shake it yes, shake it no. Take a breath in and out here. All right, so let's bring your hands to the floor. And I want you to turn your right foot out now. And I want you to bend your knee over that right foot. And then you're going to start to get a stretch along the inner line of the other leg. Yeah. And then bring your hips back. Turn the right foot forward. You can walk your hands in these directions. Turn your left foot out and bend that knee in the direction of that foot, lowering your hips down. So you're feeling a stretch along the inner line of the straight leg now. Let's do that again. Start to shift your hips back to center, straightening that left leg. Turn the left foot in. Start to move over to the other side. Turn the right foot out. Bend that knee towards the feet. Drop your hips down and feel that stretch along the inner line of the straight leg. Shift your hips to center. Walk your hands back. Turn the right foot in. Last time, turn the left foot out. Bend that knee forward. Drop into this. Hips lower down. And then shift your hips back, turn that foot forward, come to center, feet are parallel now. Bring your hands to hips, push into your feet and legs and come to flat back. Pause here, and then push down into your feet and legs and come all the way up. Great, you can heel and toe your feet in or you could just jump your feet in. And here's where we're gonna use our block. Some of you know that I like to do a variation of headstand from time to time. And when I do headstand, I always want people to be sure they're balancing their weight of their head in the right place. So I want you to place the block on your head like you're balancing a book, and then let go of it. So you're actually balancing something on your head. And once you've got it in place where it feels centered and you're balancing it, place your hands on top and press down. And as you press the block down, feel the area where the weight is, where the pressure of the block is pressing into your head, because that's the part of the head that we're going to place on the floor. And we're going to do rabbit pose. We're going to do a really simple variation of headstand where we're not going to kick up. But if you have a headstand practice and you want to kick up, you might want to go to a wall. But for the rest of us, we're just going to do a very basic variation. So keep in mind where that place is where you balance a book on your head, and come on down and place that part of your head on the floor. That's key. We want to put weight right there on that part of our head. Then relax your forearms down around your head, clasp your hand to cradle the back of your head. So the important thing is that that part of our head is on the floor. And we could be right here with our knees on the floor, with the weight of our head on the floor, right where we balance a book, with our hands cradling the back of the head. You're welcome to stay here. If you want to go to the next level, you can curl your toes under and lift your hips up. So there's more weight on the head. There's also weight on your forearms here. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So you're just putting some weight on the crown of the head, putting a little weight bearing on the muscles and the bones of the neck. And again, if you have a headstand practice and you want to kick up into headstand, you're welcome to do so. And so you might have your legs up in the air. You might be on your knees. You might have your knees up as I'm doing. It's best not to turn your head and look while you're doing this. Get into wherever you are and just stay there. You might want to stay longer. You might have had enough. You're welcome to come down at any time. And when you come down, take child's pose. So for those who are still here, we'll take 1 or 2 more breaths. And then let's all make our way down. And when you make your way out of headstand, we want you to take child's pose. So your forehead is supported on a block, on your bent arms, or on the floor. And it's just take some time to really notice how you feel now. That's a powerful experience to put some weight on that part of your head. So notice how this feels. Feel your breath, feel your body. What sensation are you experiencing as you transition from weight on your head to just having your head supported? And when you feel ready, you can start to transition. You can lift your head up. All right, we're going to come around to sitting. And this is where we're going to use our chair. So if you might have to come up to stand to get your chair, whatever. We're going to use our chair. We're going to put our heels on our chair. So we're going to sit close to the chair. And we're going to lie back. And we're going to bring our heels onto the chair. And you're going to want to be pretty close to your chair so that your hips are under your knees, right? Your knees are right over your hips. Your heels are on the chair. And we're going to have our heels as wide as our hips, right? So your feet aren't together. Your feet are separated about as wide as your hips. And your arms could be at your side. So initially, we're just going to press our heels down. And nothing's going to lift up. You're just going to press your heels into the chair. And you might notice how that fires up your hamstrings. Kind of focusing on hamstrings this morning. So heels are pressing down, but nothing is lifting up. But you might notice when your heels press down, there's almost like an impetus for something to lift up. So then let's use that impetus. Let's lift our hips up from the pressing down of the heels. Lift up like you're lifting up into a low bridge. And then lower yourself back down. And then once you're down, relax and take a breath. So don't press your heels down for a moment. Give your hamstrings a break. And then again, press your heels down and start to lift your hips up. And you might not come up as high as a normal bridge, but maybe you come to your mid back. And then you can lower those vertebrae down incrementally here. The lower part of your rib cage, and then your lumbar spine, and then your sacrum. And once you're down, let your hamstrings relax. Don't press your heels down. All right, again, press your heels down and take your hips up off the floor. Lift up kind of to your mid rib cage. Take a breath. And then lower yourself back down. Nice opportunity to articulate the spine as you lower. Once you're all the way down, stop pressing your heels down. One more time like that. Press your heels down, lift your hips up, mid rib cage, take a breath, and then lower down. And roll out. And let everything relax. All right, I want you to shake that out a little. So maybe straighten your legs, or maybe just shake out your legs up in the air a little bit. All right, and then come back. So now, can you lift your hips up and leave one heel down, take your other heel off, and then roll down. Put both heels down. Lift your hips up, lift the other foot off, and then roll down. Both heels down, lift up, take one heel off, and lower down. Both heels down, lift up, lift your other heel off, and lower down. One more time each side. Lift up, take one heel up, and lower down. Both heels down, lift up, other heel off, and lower down. Nice job. All right. Good work. Roll to your side. Push yourself up. Come around to sitting with your legs out in front. We're just going to shake the legs out a little bit. Good job. And you can be sitting up straight. You might hinge a little forward, whatever feels good to kind of free up the backs of the legs that we just worked quite a bit here. Let's bring our feet together. Take the knees apart. Maybe grab onto your ankles, or maybe you like your hands back here. Root down, sit up tall, press your feet in, press your knees apart, and breathe in and out here. Great. All right, bring your knees in, straighten your legs. We're gonna make our way down onto our backs. If you like to put on a layer, some socks or some layer on your upper body, you can do so now before you make your way down to lying down. As we come down to lying on our backs, if you like something under your head, you can put it under now. We're gonna hug our knees in, maybe sway a little bit. Then let's take those knees, draw them out wide. With your knees wide, a couple of options here. You could just rest your hands on the inside of the knees and open up this way. You could lift your heels up and you could grab your ankles. If you have socks, this is going to be hard, but you could take 2 fingers and grab your big toes and see if you could just pull the weight of your heels over those straddle knees. So you're kind of dropping the knees a little further out and down. You can just kind of be here. You could kind of sway here. Or you could bring one heel in towards your midline and open the other leg out to the side and take a breath. You could start to bring the heel back in that was out to the side and open the other heel way out to the side and take a breath. You could bring that heel back in. You could just be here with your heels dropped down. You could have your heels over your knees. Or you can take both heels out wide and pull out and down and take a breath. And then let's just bring both heels in towards the midline. Release whatever you're holding on to and drop your feet down. Separate your feet about as wide as your mat. Let your knees gently drop inward if that feels good. Doesn't feel good, don't do it. Take a breath here. And then let your knees separate. Feel free to do one more movement if that is something you'd like to do. And then begin to transition to your final relaxation. And as you come into your final relaxation, setting yourself up so you're nice and comfortable, supported, so that you can allow your body to relax. Feel free to shift around a little bit, wiggle, shake, move, until eventually your body is ready to just soften, release, and relax. Feel the relaxation just settling into your body. Your toes relaxing. The arches of your feet relaxing. Your heels heavy. Ankles relaxing. The back of the knees relaxing. The thighs resting heavy. The weight of the hips settling into the floor. The belly softening. The arms and hands heavy and loose. The shoulders dropping back. The chest relaxed and open. The head heavy, the neck relaxed, the jaw relaxed. The eyes heavy, the forehead smooth. Feeling what it feels like to be in a relaxed body. Mind relaxed, body relaxed. So if you have the time to rest a little longer, it might be nice to spend some more time lying back. If you need to finish up, you can start to bring your feet to the floor. Start to open your eyes. It's nice to take a little time rolled onto your side to transition. And we can make our way up if we're getting up. And it's also really nice to take a few moments to close out your practice. A little centering, reflection, gratitude, or prayer. So often our prayer is for peace. And of course, there's peace within as well as peace without. So I wish you peace within this morning. I thank you for being here. Good day. And if you're lying back, keep lying back. If you want to say hello